Good morning. Had a fine night last night. It's just now 7 o'clock, just getting up and ready to go. We got ride coordinated probably somewhere between 9:30 and 10, I think. They're going to let me know when they're coming back into town to get me. In the meantime, we'll go find some breakfast. It looks like the Los Hermanos place is the only place that's open right now. And they had a really good breakfast yesterday, so let's go on back. Good bacon and eggs type of place. And we'll see you down there. All done with breakfast. It was simple, cheap, but really good. Now, probably expecting the ride in another maybe 2 hours or so. Be a little bit before they come back from running around, dropping off another hiker before they can get me. But we're only planning on doing maybe 12 miles or so today, I think, so not too bad. Slow rolling at this stretch up to Roosevelt. And I'm just going to finish packing up and make sure I'm ready to go so nobody's waiting on me. And I'll just check back once we're heading out, I think, and getting back on trail. And here we are, back at Picket Post. There's where we came out from the other day. I'm back on trail. Shortly here we'll cross the highway again. And then as far as water, I think there's 5 or 6 miles, I think. There should be a flowing stream, so that'd be really cool. First, flowing water source since the Gila. There's the water cache at Picket Post. Just double checked in there and it's full. So thank you to the trail rangers who is resupplying the water caches out here for us. And there's the 300-mile mark. I feel like it takes about 300 miles on a trail before you're kind of fully broken in and feeling like you're in the zone. Got your trail legs and everything going. Feeling good. There's the tunnel under Highway 60. Taking a left here will get you straight to Phoenix. Pretty much exactly straight to the west from here. Terrain-wise, today should be relatively easy. It's uphill all day, but a nice gradual uphill. And then the next days after tomorrow will be a lot more steeper, just constantly bouncing up and down as we get into the Superstition Mountains. There's a lot of cool legends and history about the Superstition Mountains, why they're called that way. You got the Lost Dutchman mine and stuff somewhere up there. A lot of stories of hidden gold and buried treasure. And as far as temperatures go, we're also on a cooling trend for the next week or so. So in about 5 or 6 days, I think the high is only going to be 65, so that'll be definitely nice. But today it's going to be warm. High 80s, maybe up to 90 degrees. Here's the Hewitt Station Road trailhead. I'm crossing some train tracks. I'm not sure what that large black piping is for, running along the tracks there. I don't think I've seen that before. Pipeline for something. Getting closer to the bigger mountains. The steep stuff should be tomorrow morning, though. It's still been pretty gentle uphill, and that should continue for the rest of today to my intended campsite location. First flowerings of the prickly pears, nice and beautiful yellow flowers. It's awesome how vibrant and red the Ocotillo are when full bloom. This is the most beautiful desert I've ever hiked through. Well, there's a thing of beauty. We're making our way up the Whitford Canyon now, and this is the Whitford Canyon Creek. Whew. I think I'm going to follow this up the canyon a little bit more and just keep following the creek, and then when there's a nice little shady spot, we'll stop and take a break and drink our fill of nice cool water. Well, I think this is going to be perfect for my lunch break spot. Little shady spot there right off trail next to a tree, next to the stream. Awesome cold clear water. I think we're about 5.5, 6 miles in for the day, and then about another 6 miles, and we'll be done and at camp. All done with our lunch break. We chilled there for over an hour, but I feel like it's time to get moving. Only doing about 6 more miles and looking for tenting. Ugh. All the rest of this afternoon is just going up this canyon. Following right along the water for most of it. This is just awesome walking up this canyon. A little bit of a breeze and some shade. Keeping things cool. Well, being in the nice shade of a tight canyon didn't last very long. At least we still got the bit of a breeze, though. Definitely helps. But some of these saguaro out here are getting kind of outrageous in how they're growing. This one's kind of wild. Well, we made it up to the Rivas Trail Canyon trailhead. I think I'm due for another sit-down break. There's that little flowing creek just down there. So I'll find a nice little shady spot, take a relaxing break, and drink tons of water. We're still super early, and I think we have less than 2 miles to my intended campsite. I love having no rush on a trail. This is awesome. Done with my break, getting back on trail. I was just looking at the routing and stuff coming up. I'm a little over 1.5 miles to where I was looking at camping for tonight. It's still pretty early. It's like 3:15 or so. But after that, it kind of narrows into a canyon, then does a mountain climb up to the top there. I was thinking of doing that in the morning. But what I may do is load up with water at the campsite destination coming up, and then do the mountain climb this afternoon, and then try to maybe camp at the top of the saddle. It's not windy. It should be cool views up there. Shouldn't take too long to get up there. It's only about 5.5 miles from here total. So I think we may just do that. Some kind of simple structure was here with this basic rock wall, maybe just a corral or something. Well, I'm just past the campsite I was aiming for. This might be my last opportunity to get some water, so I'm going to fill up here, and we got about 4 miles to the top. It's going to get real steep, and we'll look for camping somewhere on the top of the ridge. Well, we're just about at the part where it's going to get real steep. A little bit further up the end of the canyon that way, and then it starts going up. The top of there, that's Montana Mountain. We'll be just left of it up on the ridge up there. There's a tiny pond here in the rocks, and it's full of hundreds of little tadpoles. Well, I'm about 1 mile to the top, taking a break for a minute. I can see all the way down to Superior. I can see Mount Lemmon. I think I can even see Mount Micah behind it there to the left. This is a steep climb. Hardest climb since Mount Lemmon. Still making our way up around there somewhere. Mile to go. Well, I made it to the top of the ridge. A little bit before sunset. Down over that way. Got my tent set up. Not much room here. I'm sharing it with the ants, but the ants go to bed here in a little bit, so I don't think they'll be crawling all over me anytime soon. But this will be a nice spot to camp for the night. I think it'll be a little bit cooler than the usual nights out here, which will be pretty nice. And I've got plenty of water to get me through the night. The next water source in the morning, I think, is only 2 miles ahead as we start the downhill here. But I think that's it. I got to get food cooked up and then editing and everything taken care of real quick here. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Slept great last night. It's nice and calm and quiet up here on the ridge. It's a little after sunrise. We'll get moving here in a second. We'll see how far I get for today. Somewhere between 18-20 miles or so at the most. Get us closer to Roosevelt Lake area. I think the other thing to note is that my tent is on the way of completely breaking down. It's just hit that point where it's got so many miles on it now where the zipper is all completely starting to fall apart. It only closes about 75% of the way. The whole bottom part of the big D-shaped door just kind of stays open. We'll see how far I can limp it along. I may have to get something maybe in Flagstaff. Should have a gear shop. I don't know. I'm kind of partial to the Nemo tent, so it's got to be the same thing of what I've been using. Anyway, we'll get moving here. I expect the terrain to be kind of rough today. Lots of ups and downs, possibly very steep. We'll see how it goes. I can see parts of the Phoenix area down there, straight out to the west of us. Made it to the Rogers Trough trailhead. There's a deer on the trail right up there ahead of me. There's supposed to be a water source here somewhere. Maybe a stream in the little valley here. But it looked like water today is going to be pretty good. Almost every little valley we're going up and down is going to have a flowing stream in it, it kind of looks like. So I don't think I'm too worried about water for today. A little bit of a trickle on these streams. Made it to the bottom of the valley here, Rogers Canyon Trail. Now we're splitting off and doing the Rivas Ranch Trail, heading up the next valley. Lots of opportunities for water this morning. The trail's kind of rough and rocky though. I was just admiring some bees getting their nectar from the flowers. That reminds me that I saw a lot of comments in Far Out for locations coming up in this stretch. A lot of people getting stung by bees. But bees don't really attack people. Must be hornets or something. People talking about getting stung multiple dozens of times. But I'm pretty friendly with bees and snakes. Never been stung or anything yet. It looks like we made it to the top of the climb. Today's going to be kind of rough if the uphills are like this. It's a little rough. Looks like a good place to sit down. It's time for a mid-morning break. Well, done with our second breakfast break. Starting the next downhill. A lot of old dead trees up here. This landscape is nice. here's all the bees. The trail is skipping across a little water source every quarter mile or so, but the bees are not aggressive. They're just busying themselves getting water and stuff. Just fine, just walking right past them. I like this little valley walk. It's been a gradual downhill. There's tree cover, keeping things a little cool. It's been pretty nice. Some of the best campsites on trail have been in the last 4 miles or so. Made it up to where the trail crosses Rivas Creek. I'll look at loading up here before the next little hill climb. Looks like the next couple of climbs are short but steep. This will be a good place to just relax for a minute and load up on water. Back on trail. Well, this one's definitely volcanic. I wonder when the last eruption around here was. All the colors in the leaves make it look like it's fall. Here's Pine Creek. This must be the Walnut Spring. Last guaranteed water for at least 10 miles. I'll be dry camping tonight. There's supposed to be water across the trail after a really steep descent right before an extremely steep climb coming up in just a little bit. So I think I'm going to hold out for that. Well, I'm at the part where we start an extremely steep descent for about a mile. There should be water down at the bottom of this valley. And then we do an extremely steep uphill for a mile about that side, and I can see the trail ahead there. I hope there's water at the bottom, or else I'm pretty screwed. Well, I made it to the bottom. Rough and rocky coming down. I guess this is the water source. Little trickles of water in the rocks. I gotta load up here. Next water is like 8 or 9 miles away, I think. I'm about 6 miles to where I'm looking at camping. I'm all loaded up, nice and heavy. Starting the steep uphill climb. Doesn't look so bad from here, but it's pretty much a straight up. We're getting there. This climb sucks. This is why I say the CDT is the easiest. It doesn't have steep climbs. Well, we're over the top of the climb. You can see Roosevelt Lake down there. 12 trail miles. We'll hit that tomorrow at some point. The trail continues along the ridges up that way, ups and downs. Some cool canyon lands over this way. A nice little breeze blowing and slightly overcast, so the sun intensity is low. I'm gonna take a sit-down break and dry some sweat out. Couldn't get the camera out fast enough, but right when I'm getting back on trail, 2 F-35s come low level right through that saddle. And then right down there, and just around the corner to the right of that little mesa. That was pretty awesome. They were very close. Well, there's a real pretty horned toad. He's the perfect color of this reddish copper to blend in with the rocks. 2 miles to camp. Got one more moderately steep uphill here, and then start heading down the backside. The camp is down there somewhere. I think we're finally done climbing for the day. Trail is leveled out a bit. We're swinging around to the backside of this hill. I got about a mile left to camp. Well, all set up. A little grassy patch by a little backcountry dirt road, and we're at camp. Tomorrow there should be water as we're dipping back down into the little valleys. There should be streams and stuff to follow. But it's time to get dinner going, get settled in the rest of the way. So I think that about does it for today. It's been a rough, I think we kicked off 20 miles, but it was a rough 20 miles, like doing a rough AT 20 miles. Just all day has been like loose rocks, scree underfoot. There was like a 4-mile section where it was kind of nice in a pine forest, but this trail is just way too rocky. I'd even go far as to say like rocks per mile. I think this is a rockier trail by far than the AT is. Just really beating up my feet. But we're getting through it, slow and steady. I think that's it for now. We're hitting Roosevelt tomorrow. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.